Hey friends, here comes the fun part. In this video, we're going to walk you through some tips and examples for how to build one of these bridges for your own and show you some obstacles to avoid along the way. Specifically, we're going to be building this bridge right here in this video. But remember, there are countless ways to go about building one of these bridges, and there's no wrong answer, so you're more than welcome to try to copy that bridge, but we really encourage you to show some creativity and see what you can come up with. With all that being said, let's take you on this journey and show you step 1 for how to get started.
Before we begin, here's a few quick examples so you can see what you're getting yourself into. And also, take a look at the famous Warren, Pratt, and Howe trusses, which are all very efficient designs, and they're famous for a reason. Anyways, let's get started on showing you how to build one of these bridges for yourself.
The first step is to go ahead and get your design down on paper, and this template is the one that we already showed you. If we follow this template closely and work diligently, it's going to be pretty cool to watch our bridge come to life and look exactly like this. We also include this piece of parchment paper, which serves as your working surface. It's a good idea to go ahead and put a piece of tape down, just so your template doesn't move. And once you have that, you can get working on marking your wood and starting to cut it out. For example, here's this 10-inch piece on the bottom. You can cut through it nice and easy with scissors, but if it does give you any trouble and you're not being able to cut through it, try giving it a cut as far as you can, rotate the wood, cut again, and it should snap nice and easy. It's actually a good idea to go ahead and place all your wood down and mark all of it. And keep in mind that we only have a certain amount of wood. The last thing we want to do is run out of it. You also need to keep in mind that we have 2 sides to our bridge, so keep that in mind and make sure you use all your wood efficiently. So I just finished making my last markings, and now I'm going to go ahead and get to cutting. So we'll make sure to cut all of our wood and designate where it goes. As a general rule of thumb, it's always a good idea to cut your wood a little bit on the longer side rather than on the shorter side, because you can always shave wood off, but you can't exactly add wood back onto it. So that's it for our first side, but remember, we have to make the second side of our truss. So we just finished cutting up all of our pieces and arranging them, and we actually have 2 of each for both of our truss sides. And it's kind of funny watching our stockpile of the scraps pile up over here. I was also just reminded that when planning the use of your wood, you also have to keep in mind the connecting pieces. You're going to want at least 4 pieces that are a couple inches wide to connect the 2 sides of your truss once they're all built. Anyways, let's get to putting this together. When it comes to hot gluing your bridge, let's take it one step at a time. And also, just to make sure the mess doesn't pile up, try to clean it up as you go. So what you want to do is place your wood on the template, kind of start putting them together, and drop just a little bit of glue in there. Remember guys, more glue is not better. And the nice thing about hot glue is while it's drying, you can kind of mix it up and mold your pieces to really fit the template. While it's drying, you can start adding the other one, but don't get too far ahead of yourself while there's still plenty of glue drying. Don't be afraid to get any glue on your parchment paper. That's why we gave you a couple pieces. It's inevitably going to stick to it and it might rip, but don't worry. Go ahead and pull out another piece if that happens, especially as you make the second side of your truss. You can start to see the importance of the bridge we're building. If we just left it like this frame, you can see the weakness of it. But once we start adding in our members in the middle, you can start to see how it braces itself. Let's go ahead and finish the inside of this, and then we'll get to the second piece. This goes back to the part where it's always nicer to have it a little longer than shorter. Say it doesn't fit in there quite, you can take a little bit of hair off of it. And then go ahead and add some hot glue, and put it down in the crevice. Line up with the line. So now they're both stood up, and remember what I said earlier, we have to leave some wood to connect them. I'm going to connect mine about a little over 2 inches apart, and I'm going to cut out 4 pieces that are the same exact length. So let's place these at the right length apart. And like I said, I cut out 4. I really encourage you to do more and put them in strategic locations. I'm going to put mine on the 4 corners just to show the basics. All you do, put a little bit of glue on both sides of your tip, and then go ahead and place it on the corners. And as that glue's drying, go ahead and maneuver your bridge to make sure it's nice and straight. So check it out, here's a panoramic view of our bridge. And like I just said, I just put our 4 connectors on the 4 corners. I'd encourage you to take a look at the testing video just to make sure you leave enough room for how we're going to test our bridge. Anyways, now we're good to go ahead and take off these binder clips and check out our bridge. To finish off this video, check out these next tips that are going to prevent things like twisting from the bridge and make it stronger in general. Stacking members along critical joints is a popular way to add strength and durability to your design. My guess is that not every member in your bridge can be the 1/4 inch thick wood, so bonding some smaller wood together is a great alternative. The process you see here is reinforcing joints with something called gusset plates. In real bridges, gusset plates increase their life by up to 3 times what it would be without them. Keep an eye out for these plates next time you see a bridge. In our case, they just help support the weight of the bridge at critical spots, and this final picture is a truss with gusset plates at every joint. Lateral bracing is perhaps the most important of these tips, as it helps prevent the twisting of your bridge, which is unfortunately how many of them will break. The longer that twisting is kept in check, the greater of a load your bridge will be able to handle before collapsing. Diagonal members are a great way to design them in, but you can also reinforce from the inside as you saw in that brief video. Although this one can get a little time consuming, modifying members to be flush with each other increases the surface area of the connection and decreases the stress. Although it may not be necessary at every connection, it is definitely something to keep in mind during your build. So are you excited to start brainstorming and getting that design down on paper and finally start building? Well, we're excited to see what you come up with, so please let us know if you have any questions along the way, and please check out this next video where you're going to see how to test your project once it's all done. Thanks everybody.